hear from any of the other applicants?
I did not.
Okay, so they'll get a letter, right?
Email, yes.
Okay, yeah. Yeah.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Dawn, do they get a letter saying they weren't appointed or just checking in with them in case something happened? Like, do we give them any kind of opportunity to come again?
Yeah, I can. I mean, in my emails, I'm always welcoming them to apply again if they have more interest, but I can specifically ask them if they want to interview at the next meeting.
I was just curious if something came up for them or anything.
So I did send them reminders and the agenda.
Just curious if school graduations or anything played into it. That was my thinking, because it is like smack dab in that.
Did we, remind me if I'm not remembering this correct, did we make a process for those that didn't show for what happens to their application? Am I just imagining this?
I don't recall if that's in writing in your voting procedure. I'd have to read that again to see. I do recall specifically that they can be excused and be considered if they give us written notice before the meeting.
That's what I'm thinking of. Thank you. So then would that remove them from consideration if you had no notice for the next?
I'm sorry, ask me that again.
Since we didn't hear from them, would that remove them from consideration for the next?
I'm pretty sure it would.
Okay, and are we in agreement that we're going to reach out because we've got lots of things scheduled this week?
It's my understanding that we hold on to their applications, but they would have to reapply for the next coming month if there was still a position open. I believe we also send out a letter thanking them, and please, if their interest, if they, continue to look at the website and submit as
Yeah, they're basically
as
starting over.
openings are available. But I don't know the complete term, but we haven't just held their names or application and put it the next time something came up.
Or was that for people who were not selected?
It's for
Or any?
anyone. If they weren't selected, they would have to reapply at the next opportunity to put their name forward for coming before us.
That's actually how I handled Deborah's application. I pulled her application and just had written confirmation from her that she wanted to reapply.
Sorry, I was reading. So we're going to check in with them and invite them back. Okay. And now that we're moving forward with some more voting, I didn't say this at the beginning, but remember there's a person on your ballot, and then there's a no recommendation on your little ballot tally dealy bob. So we will move, where did I move my sheet? To Youth Committee Liaison for Kaiser Public Arts Commission opening. Who is present for that? Come on down and make sure you say your name and where you're from and all the good things.
Okay. Hi, I'm Katie Klein. I am going to be a senior next year at McNair High School. I've lived in Kaiser my whole life. And I have already served 2 years on the Kaiser Public Arts Commission as their youth liaison. And I wish to continue going on a 3rd year because I love art. Not because I'm an artist, because more specifically, I love the art around Kaiser. And I just really want to continue being more involved in the community. and I want to continue bringing opportunities to McNairy High School students for Kaiser Public Art. Thank you.
I have a question.
Go for it.
Is there an age limit or anything that's to keep someone, per se, like herself, from being actually on the committee and not being as per se, the youth liaison?
Yeah, I believe it's 18.
I thought that's what Emerson went through.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you for that clarification.
Can you tell us any projects that you've completed and what you're most proud of?
Yes. So one of the big projects we've completed, I think, is Rosalie's Silly Cows are out in the roundabout over that way. That way. Okay, it's that way. No, but I'm really proud of that because we started doing that on when I was first kind of appointed as their youth liaison. So I've kind of been there like this whole ride along the way. And it's just really cool seeing the whole process of how that was made, and I'm just really proud of it.
That's fantastic. Thank you.
Are there any future projects that you're working on or something that you're super excited about for the city of Kaiser?
Oh, of course. I'm really excited about the art that's going to go on the traffic light boxes to stop vandalism around them. Because, I don't know, we've looked at some of the pictures for the art boxes or the utility boxes, and they're just really, really cool. I'm excited to see that.
Oh,
So speaking of those, are they have a design that if they get tagged on top of, that they'll be able to be cleaned off without disturbing the art?
I'm fairly certain that, yeah, you will be able to wash it off or either take it off and be able to reprint it on, from my knowledge.
And I just want to say, I remember the last time that you applied, and your confidence level has gone up greatly, and I appreciate the growth.
Thank you.
How are you taking this information that you're getting at the commission level back to the students at McNairy?
When I get information from the Kaiser Arts Commission, I take it back to McNairy High School, and I go to some of the art teachers and ask if they have any students that they know from the top of their head if they would like to recommend for me to talk to. And if they don't, I will send them an email after, just reminding them it's like there is an opportunity here, and if like you would like to put it out to your class for any people who want to enjoy this opportunity, they could come talk to me, or I could go and give more information to them.
And then do you guys have anything that you are doing with elementary school kids right now or through the summer? Is there anything that you're working on?
Recently, we looked at pictures that elementary students drew, and I think we were going to display some of them out there on the walls.
I
which
saw some.
They were really cool. I love them all. And I think that's the only thing we've done so far. Yeah.
Okay. Any plans in the future for anything in like the fall?
I hope so, but I don't know yet.
Okay, cool.
any other questions? You're fantastic.
Thank you.
I think this is much like the situation with Debbie. There's no other applicants for this position. Is there a motion to appoint Catherine Klein to the liaison position for the Public Arts Commission?
I move to make a motion that Catherine Klein fills the Youth Committee liaison position for the Public Arts Commission.
I second.
Any questions, conversation from anyone? It has been moved and second. All in favor?
Aye.
While Larry's sinking to the ground. Aye. Thank you so much, Catherine.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You make a motion to move that to council?
Yes. I make a motion to move Catherine Klein's position to City Council, or the recommendation to City Council.
Second.
It has been moved in second that Catherine Klein be recommended to Kaiser City Council for the 24-25 Youth Liaison position for the Arts Commission. All in favor? Aye. Thank you so much.
you.
Have a great summer. I can't wait to see the paint stuff on the boxes too. I've got one right in front of my office, so, and it's tagged right now.
Of course it is.
All right, moving on. We have next the youth counselor opening, and it's my understanding that today will be your interview, and then we'll vote on the position before September. Is that correct? Yeah? Okay.
That's what I understand.
All right, come on down. Let's see. And can you please give us the correct pronunciation of your name?
My full name?
Yes.
Malaya Laddie Farrar.
Thank you so much, Malaya. And why would you like to be the city councilor liaison?
Well, I haven't really been a part of the Kaiser community for a very long time. I just moved here recently, and I started getting more involved throughout my school about things that involve Kaiser. Like, I was a part of the student cabinet for the school Salem Kaiser School District. So throughout the year, I was helping to make change directly in the schools, along with being a part of my school's BSU to continue making change. And hearing this position opening from a teacher at my school, Miss Reed, really made me want to come out and try to make more change, because I found that I really enjoy putting myself out there to help others, because it's something nice to have people help you even if they don't ask for it.
Well, thank you for coming. You said change many times. I guess change in school, change in city government, what kind of specific change are you, is in your mind what you see needs worked on?
I definitely believe that there are changes that need to be made within schools, but I also know that there are changes outside of school, like in the Kaiser community in general, that needs to be worked on and changed. Like, I know sometimes like the areas aren't the most accessible for some people because of like the buses, which I originally thought this was at the city hall in Salem, so I was a little bit worried on how I was gonna get there. But turns out it was here, so it all worked out. But I'm okay with trying to work for any change in school, out of school. I just think it's important for Kaiser to be a community for all, regardless if they're in school or outside of school.
Do you move forward in staying on the cabinet for the Salem Kaiser School District next year, or was it just this year?
It's only been this year, as this is my first year, but if I got offered again, I would definitely continue, because I found it really enjoyable getting to talk from a student's point on what I see in my high school that needs to be changed, and also hearing from the other schools, seeing that they also have similar problems and other problems that aren't necessarily a problem in my school that they need changed. I just really like seeing everyone coming together to make a change, like make a difference in a whole compared to small fractions.
And what would you look forward to learning from City Council if you were selected?
Well, I was reading your guys' long-term goals as like a whole, and I definitely agree with a lot of them, like the sidewalk gap and repair program, because I myself longboard, but because of the sidewalks being cracked and damaged, it's hard to do that, so I have to be in the bike lane, and being on the bike lane causes there to be rocks and other stuff in my way, and I actually fell from that recently, so I feel like that would be a great way to not only help people who don't have cars to get around, because I don't have a car, so I have to skateboard sometimes, so I just want to get something out of it that could help everyone, because even though I won't probably be in Kaiser for a super long time, I'm a junior, about to graduate next year, I know I would feel comfortable knowing that I made a little bit of change within the time that I was able to.
Thank you.
How do you see yourself taking this information that you learned from city council back to your fellow students?
Well, I would do my best to speak out when possible. I have met with the principal before when it came to the student cabinet about the change that needed to be made. And I would be comfortable making meetings with him if it involves like huge like school-wide things that need to be worked on. But if it was like smaller and involved like certain groups, I would meet with whoever's in charge of that group to see what's the best step of action to get to where our goal is to getting.
I'm curious if you could tell us about one decision that you maybe championed or participated in to make a change in your school or in the cabinet.
Well, one thing that I motioned was a improve in the racism that was happening in the school. As you can see, I am of color, so I firsthand saw the racism that was going on within my own school, and hearing that it was continuing in other schools made me really want to make a step forward. And my mom set up a meeting with the NAACP to talk about the stuff that I was witnessing and hearing within the school. So that was one of my little pennies into the whole problem to try and fix it, because it's a very serious thing that needs to be addressed.
Follow-up question. Did anything come to fruition with that meeting?
From what I know of, no, not necessarily, but I was in class during the time, so I couldn't directly attend. But I know that my main problems were like within the sports community, and like the sports community wasn't just really welcoming towards me, and I suffered, like I had a lot of problems in it, not necessarily due to racism, but it was just one of the main topics that came up. And from my knowledge, the principal had spoken to people of the sports committee and like the director of the sports committee to try and make it a more welcoming community for everybody, not only people of color.
Thank you so much. Good work. Any other questions? Yeah.
So it says you did a media production team with McNary. I just want to hear about your experience. I like to hear about the students' experience being on that's a CTE, right?
No.
Is that just?
It's like just within McNary specifically.
Yeah.
I just recently got in it, actually. I start fully next year, as we just had like our auditions and interviews this ending of this year. But so far, it's actually been really fun. I did the last video for the school that really talked about our final choir program, performance, and also just like the beginning of what finals week is going to look like. And so far, I find it to be a very welcoming place, and I find it enjoyable to spread my words out there and spread the news. I find it enjoyable. I don't know. I think it's just a fun little thing to do.
Awesome. Thank you.
And yes, it is a CTE program.
That's what I was thinking.
It's just, I think she thought you meant C-Tech.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you coming down and being vulnerable with us. You're a rock
you.
star.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So because we're not voting today, we'll just close the interview and we'll take up the vote in August. And thank you so much.
Leaving you on a cliffhanger.
It takes real courage to do what you ladies are doing in a community full of adults who might be a little less welcoming to youth. And so I'm proud of you for showing up today. Good job. You should be proud of yourselves too.
Thank you.
And you don't have to stay for the rest if you don't want to. We got more. It's summer.
And related to the youth. And
Yeah.
the city has like social media accounts. Is there a way to have like a youth specific kind of direction that they could create to go with that, so it's easier for them to, in a more like teen friendly language, explain what they're doing.
Yeah. Can I ask a clarifying question? Are you asking for them to like share that the positions are open on that, or share what like interview?
What they're doing.
Okay.
What they're doing on each of the committees, and to try and get more youth interested in what's happening.
Participating.
I mean, I would not say giving them free reign on a social media account of their own,
TikTok for City of Kaiser.
but that could be another part of their liaison duties, is to help create some information that could be out there youth-friendly in their format.
Maybe that can be overseen with the CTE program or something. And counselors or
Right,
somebody.
because I know that through the media program, she does all of the social media accounts for the school, and they build the little announcements and make the blurbs, and they do a great job with the graphics and that kind of stuff. So.
I don't think it's a bad idea.
Would you entertain perhaps a City of Kaiser youth? Like, I think you can do different channel. Okay, this is way out of my wheelhouse. I just
You're good.
hear
Keep
about it.
going.
They
Keep
have
going.
different formats, yes.
Yeah. So there's different channels from, that they can do offshoots on pages and things like that. Is that kind of what you're thinking? Like maybe have a City of Kaiser youth page, or have the youth liaisons and the youth counselor submit information to be posted on the City of Kaiser page, or all of the above.
I think it could be a combination of things. I mean, whether it be, they're creating like Instagram blurbs and upcoming events, and
I believe those are called reels.
Okay.
Yes, they could make some reels.
I have no idea, but okay.
I just know because I have one at home, a teenager, that is.
Right. Mine's just entering middle school, so.
I will take it forward.
I think that's a great idea. We
mean,
have
they
to
could-
meet kids where they're at.
But even if we got all the youth liaisons together and got
Created a video.
information from them about what is the current way that information can be disseminated about stuff.
Or how they apply, what they've learned from the ones that have been in the past, maybe to pull them.
Take it forward, and then Dawn can interpret for me when I fumble and call things what they're not. So,
You got a couple other
yeah, there we go. So, anyway, so between Dawn and I, we will get it pushed forward.
Yeah, that's cool.
Good idea.
Yeah.
I think it's great.
every now and then.
Hit them where they're at.
I just know I've been frustrated with trying to get
Yeah.
them through the high school channels,
need
because
to
I'm just
see
yet
it.
another teacher. What do I know? Laura has much better luck apparently recruiting than I do.
I think she might be like slipping them A's under the.
She has a little bit different clientele than I have as well.
I'm only kidding. Okay, so moving on, next order of business, volunteer of the quarter, and I'm excited about this. A nomination for Tony Grove. And I think there's someone in the audience that would like to tell us about their nomination.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair and members of the committee. For the record, my name is Kathy Clark. I am the mayor of Kaiser, and tonight it is my pleasure to recommend to you that Tony Grove be recognized as volunteer of the quarter for the city of Kaiser. I began this nomination when I learned that Tony was going to be retiring from his Kingdom of Comics, and I wanted to honor what he had done for our community through that store and through his efforts for not just his own store, but also collaborating with other businesses, creating an environment at the Kaiser Village, but in the community that really reaches out to our youth, to so many of us, so inclusive of people throughout our community. At his store, at events, whatever it took to bring a lot of joy, but also to get very involved with and very actively involved with providing for needs of people in the community. We all know that he was a very active supporter of the Kaiser Community Food Bank, but he also was involved with Toys for Tots, the Princess Leia Foundation, Shriners, and so forth and so on, many other charitable organizations. He didn't get rich owning that store. As a matter of fact, he was in financial not good situation. Unfortunately, before we could complete this process, he passed. So with the permission of his daughter, who I asked before I completed the nomination, I'm bringing that forward to you now. And she has also given permission for this to be presented, if you approve it, at the Celebration of Life at the end of this month. So I would be honored to have you recommend that he receive this honor to show his family just how much this community loved him and were loved by Tony Grove. Thank you very much. Happy to answer any questions.
I don't have any questions, but I do think that this is a well-deserved, and I only wish I could see his face as he received it, just because I know how it felt for me when he accepted being the Holiday Lights Parade Grand Marshal. It was so unexpected to him, and it just lit up his face and his desire to serve the community. And he knew I loved Star Wars, and so he worked really hard to get his stormtrooper troop down here to walk in the parade. And that was just a blessing to me because he saw something and knew I loved it and made it happen. So I am happy to move this forward as the volunteer of the quarter. I think this is well-deserved and
Probably long overdue.
long overdue for sure.
Thank you.
Any motion here? We just move it forward.
I move to make a motion to make Tony Grove Kaiser Volunteer of the Quarter.
Second?
Any questions, thoughts? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. A recommendation to move to City Council?
I move to make the recommendation for Tony Grove as the volunteer of the quarter to the city council.
I second that.
It's been moved in second to move Tony Grove forward to City Council for volunteer of the quarter. Any questions, testimonials, thoughts?
No, I only met Tony once, and it was at that parade. I actually drove him back, and it was kind of a funny story, but he was so kind, and he had a big heart, and with just that one encounter, I can only imagine the loss that his family and the community has, and I didn't know all these things of him, so I'm just very grateful to him and sad that I didn't know him more, and I appreciate you bringing him forward.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, Mayor Clark, for bringing this forward, and it's going to be fantastic for their family to have in remembrance. All right, moving on, we have some other business and debrief of 2024 annual recognition for city volunteers.
I,
You have some information
who did
for
this?
us?
No, I don't.
Oh.
Who did the second for the last motion?
Leslie.
Leslie, Leslie did the motion. I'm sorry, who seconded it?
Don made the motion, Leslie second.
Okay, thank you.
How did your loving on volunteers go for the committees you went to, everyone?
It was good. Budget committee, there was a lot more people. I didn't realize, like, it's a full room, and they were eating already, so I felt bad bringing them cookies, but hopefully somebody got to enjoy those at the end of the day, at the end of the long meetings.
We're good.
Who did you go see, Larry?
I think I did the arts people this time instead of traffic safety bikeways.
And everything went okay for you?
Yeah, they grabbed them and I left. Of course. It went great.
Good. And what about you, Don?
I did bikes and safe, or that. And I actually stayed for part of the meeting, and I learned a little bit of stuff about what's going on with them too. So it was good. I don't think I was feeling very well that night, but so I don't remember all the details, but I was there. I didn't breathe on their cookies.
I did city council, and Emerson and Leslie came. I invited everybody to come. I think that, did you come?
I did not come. I had a track meet.
Did you come? Okay. I couldn't remember, but
Don't remember getting an invite, to be honest.
do you read your email?
Typically, if it goes
And I didn't have any cookies to offer, but I heard that they were on the back counter.
I think, if I can, Madam Chair, I was at the CDC meeting, and I can't remember who, I think it was Daisy, who came to that one, and there were no cookies. And there was just a sign on the back corner, or on the back counter, so I would encourage there to be communication about, are the committees going to get cookies, or are they not, or have a consistent delivery method for all of the committees, and not maybe just a sign on the back corner with the snacks that are typically for, and it's not that there were snacks that we're used to for city council, so it wasn't something special for the committee. So I would just maybe talk through some consistency practices. That would be my suggestion.
Is that something that I need to manage? Because I was told from when I arrived, I asked where the cookies were, because last time I had them in a little bag, and Melissa just let me know they were on the back counter. But if that's something that the chairperson needs to manage, if it takes the load off, or we can make a decision what kind of food we're offering, or if it's a flowers or a card or whatever. I don't know if I'll be here next year because I'm in my second year, but that might be something we want to talk about for the duties of the chairperson.
Yeah, I think I actually wrote cards, and then there was too many people, and then I was like, oh, it's budget. They're going to be here a long time. I felt bad, actually. I felt kind of intrusive. So for that, just kind of, I like to do things a little bit more personal, but if they're already eating, you can't really hand people a cookie. So that's just my 2 cents. It was kind of awkward for me, but I had done it before, and I thought it went fine, but I had them in hand. I think they were in the back over there waiting for me, and then I just brought them up and said a little bit. Melissa said that some of us were reading the proclamation, and I was like, oh man, I wasn't prepared for that. So I think they're. Oh, did you? Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, I figured there's a lot of people in this room, and they want to get down to business, and budget is one of the tougher committees to be on. So I didn't want to take up time, but I don't know. It's just my 2 cents.
And I didn't read the first time I did it, when I went to the arts one last year. So I wasn't kind of surprised, like you said. I was like, okay, I guess I get to read a whole page in front of everyone.
That's fine. I'm happy to read a proclamation. I do think it does need some sort of, this is what we do every time consistently, and then that's the expectation, and it can be trained to new people that come on board.
Is it customary for the mayor to read the proclamation if it's in city council for the volunteer appreciation? Yeah.
Yes. Thank you, Madam Chair. It is a proclamation, the mayor's proclamation. So during city council, that the mayor is the one that reads the proclamation. And then I think if members of the committee go to the other committees, it could be members of the committee can read the proclamation.
Okay.
If they want to, or but I think, again, going back to what Leslie said, I think the consistency thing is the key, and to have the process laid out so everybody knows what they're doing, and especially if, Corey gets caught up or is ill and Dawn's going to step in, there's a sheet, and they know they just follow what to do.
Script.
Yeah.
Well, the bikes, traffic, and those people, they've had it the same way for the last 6 until this year. I've done them for that group. But I've always showed up, Debbie handed me a thing, and not that, you know, that I start out and I get the cookies. They start us out as to go first, and I just stand up, give it to this way, and let the committee pass it down the line, and they can take a cookie or not. And then I've never read the plaque. I didn't even know there was really that until this last year. It was just in my head a volunteer appreciation month, so I just said from the city council and volunteer coordinating committee and the citizens of Kaiser appreciate your volunteerism, and pretty much that's about it. So,
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Sorry.
If I could offer a suggestion to maybe calendar, to have this item on the agenda in like January or February of the year, and that way, you as a committee can discuss it and kind of determine, know what the budget is, kind of decide what you want to do, how you want to do it. But if you start it in January, the conversation in January or February, that would allow for if a meeting is canceled because there's no other business or, that kind of thing. So just a thought.
I agree, and I was also thinking on the process for appointments to city council committees and or putting it on a duties list. I'm not sure which paper that one is on. No.
That might be another suggestion, and I'm happy. I will own that it's my fault and maybe make a volunteer appreciation committee part 2 or appreciation month part 2. But we should have, as city council, maybe can calendar it to thank this committee.
Thank you. That would be nice. It's not necessary, but we all love being thanked for what we do. Maybe I'm looking at like a resolution or putting that process into something. That way it's on paper, but then also putting it on the calendar to go over said duties. That way it's not missed. Yeah.
Thank you, Madam Chair. It might be something that, and I'm looking at Dawn, maybe they want to have an internal conversation amongst your team as well, and then maybe come back with another staff report or maybe some suggestions or something to this committee later in the year, and then that would lend into what you're thinking would be a good idea to put into the process or the notebook, and then it's getting both sides of it.
Okay. So can we make a recommendation for staff to chat about the appreciation process for April Volunteer Appreciation Month? And then we can... That's a good question. I'm not sure how Salem does their volunteer appointments, but I could probably ask and find out. I know a person. We know a few people over there. But yeah, I think if we can streamline the process so nobody's showing up going, I don't know what I'm doing, that would be fantastic, Dawn.
I would like to rehearse the proclamation before I because that's going to be bad. I was like,
We'll just kind of, review some of the vocab at least.
yeah. I didn't even know what it. I was like, I didn't even have a paper, so I was like, I don't know how I'm going to. Nope, not doing
I also forgot to ask Dawn if I could have an other business topic, but I was talking with my co-chair last month, and she brought up a point that I and now I'm forgetting the exact point. But she brought up a point that the questions when we're asking folks who are coming for positions are somewhat leading. And I had noticed that one time, but she felt that they were more leading questions, trying to get the answers that we wanted. And so I just wanted to put that out and find out what other folks were thinking or had an opinion of.
I think some of them have been, because we have expectations of what that committee would be doing. I don't necessarily agree coming from a point of specifics to that person, but more to what the committee does.
Mm-hmm. I think just right. I think it was just the questions that have been asked have been somewhat leading, in her opinion. And we can table this until next when she's back. But I just wanted to make sure it was. I said it because she asked me to, and we can table it for next time. But just that the questions we've been asking seem leading to get an answer that we're looking for. And I've heard it one time, but that's it. So I think we could talk about it more when Jane's here to understand it a little bit better. And that is all I have for today. Any other business from anyone? Happy summer vacation for those who get to celebrate. And the meeting is adjourned at 6:54 p.m. June 13th. Who am I? Joe Egley.
I would have had that if it would have been a bell. I'm going to steal the bell
ting,
or the
ting.
gavel at the next meeting.
Well, thankfully, he's not doing the next meeting. Well, I guess he is doing the next meeting.
Maybe we could replace the bell with the xylophone.
Or
I feel like